Honored to have Larry Campbell, CIO and VP of IT at DAI. Larry oversees the global IT department that supports offices in more than 50 countries. Larry has worked on many transformation initiatives across the world, as well as championed the development of team of experts that supports multiple client efforts all around the world. Welcome, Larry. Thank you and very glad to have you. Congratulations, Larry, on your recent mention in Microsoft Customer Stories on Women for Health programs. Larry, can you talk about what makes DAI unique and what are some of the transformational initiatives that's going on in your business?
Sure. So, I mean, we believe we're a unique company. I also realize that probably every company believes that they're somewhat unique. For DAI, I mean, I do believe that we are special. DAI is a very mission-driven company. We were founded by people that believed, you could grow a business by being an expert at helping make meaningful and positive impact in the lives of people in parts of the world where they have been a little bit left behind, or people don't have the right kind of opportunities because they're not in an environment that allows for success of every citizen. We work with governments and the private sector, and what we do is try to help develop policies, ecosystems that support successful markets and provide these opportunities for citizens to be successful. We're in about over 60 countries. We have a very talented workforce of about 5,000 people, and we are a for-profit employee-owned company. We've just celebrated our 50th anniversary, and we're doing that in sort of a very unconventional way when you think about business. Yeah, so for us to continue to be successful means that we need to change and constantly be evolving. And right now, I think for me personally, what is the most important ways that we need to be moving into the 21st century is really around technology. And we've known this for a while, that first of all, the proliferation, actually the increase of access to technology in the countries where we're working, that has a huge impact on our ability to be able to use IT to extend our reach, amplify sort of our what it is that we're trying to do, and do it in some ways for less money than we could in the past. So say, how do we take this sort of let's say traditional way of doing development work, and instead of being always hands-on and always sort of a manual process, how do we automate that by leveraging sort of the technology that exists in the countries where we're working? So that is key. It's not necessarily easy to make that shift, but it's important. And then right now, in this environment with COVID, we've been forced into a position where we have to do that, and we're seeing success and seeing things moving much more quickly than we probably would have anticipated without COVID. So it's we've got to be able to remain relevant. We've got to be able to implement in the field, and right now we can do that. And we can do that because of investments that we've made in IT, and also because we understand what exists in the countries where we're working and how can we use that to really help us to continue to be successful. And we're, I think we're going to come out of this as being a stronger company than we were in the past.
With your data initiatives called One DAI, digital and data seems to be playing a very important role at DAI with the adoption of Azure Power BI. How do you see cloud laying the foundation for data and analytics?
So, so first of all, I see, the cloud as, it really provides a platform that will allow us to truly leverage our data assets. As I mentioned earlier in the first question, traditionally the internet infrastructure challenges in much of the developing world, in the past, has required us to, really be disconnected. And we've had very siloed approaches on our implementation. And that also, results in a siloed way of thinking about data. that we have collected data for a particular program or contract that we have with our customer. And then we will be reporting on that contract and then lose all those opportunities for being able to take that data to go beyond just what we're doing in the field and really have a better understanding of what's happening in the world, where we are working and where we are focused on continuing to work. Now with the cloud, we're able to be smarter about, the way we standardize data. The data that we're collecting in one place can be, we can centralize that with data that we're collecting from other places. So we get a better global sort of reporting into trends. We're able to take the data and mix it up with external data to really help us understand what's going on in the world. What is it that we are doing and how that might be helping to, as far as the overall economic goals of a country or a region. And then we're able to, gain insights that we haven't been able to gain before. So yeah, I would say that the cloud for us has really opened up all kinds of opportunities. And not to mention that now we're not necessarily going into every country where we're working and trying to set up infrastructures. So we're able to leverage the cloud to more quickly deploy in the field and really cut down some of the costs that would normally go into the infrastructure and all the IT support that you would need in every place.
The 4 C's for digital and data transformation has been communication, collaboration, creativity, and cultural change. What is your experience in creating a data-driven culture with business intelligence for all?
So it's a transition. We're evolving. You're going from a company that didn't really have access to decent data, and then understanding that first of all is setting up these data standards. So we have a significant initiative right now that's focused in on data management and data governance. How are we identifying the data across a number of different critical business functions that we believe is important to the one DAI? To just that it's sort of a thin. The way we think about it is a thin layer of data that really is important to our continued success. So it is. So it's so the reality is it's not necessarily easy because it does require a significant amount of change and change management. It does require implementing standards that didn't necessarily exist before, and then implementing a framework for how you manage to those standards. So I know my response is probably not the sexiest response because I feel like we're still moving in the right direction. There is momentum around the understanding that data is critical for DAI. There is a real understanding that we have not been leveraging our data assets. And then there's this, okay, we need to do that. And then you step back and you think about, okay, how do we do this? And then getting to where we want to be requires a lot of work. And that's, I would say we're still, we're definitely light years ahead of where we were a few years ago, but we're still working towards that goal to be a truly data-enabled company.
I see that you are considering Oracle Cloud SaaS for your procure-to-pay and Microsoft Azure for data and analytics. What is the future of cloud and cloud management at DAI, given your multi-cloud adoption strategy?
First of all, we are embracing a cloud-first strategy in general, which is that if it's available in the cloud, we're not going to build it on our own. We're not an IT company, so we're not, there's no value in us trying to build systems. We're not selling them to customers, we're using them internally. So our approach is to, first of all, identify the most important business, what in the business is as far as the priorities around achieving DAI's global strategy, and then what are those core critical business functions that we need to be able to support and support well. So part of our cloud strategy is to look and see what's available from business solutions like the Oracle Cloud Financials or the Dynamics CRM. And then it is pretty much out of the box implementations is what we're trying to go for. to leverage the business processes or best practices that have already been established into these systems, and then be able to use them at DAI. And we do that for a lot of reasons. One of them is the fact that, it's easier to support, as well as understanding that, we can learn a lot from the way other people have developed best practices, and that we could learn a lot and really benefit from implementing them at DAI. So that is a bit of the approach. Also, our cloud strategy is we don't necessarily believe that we have to embrace one particular platform, and understand, we're also not going to go for a best in breed approach for everything, but we are going to understand that sometimes we're going to need to shift away from one provider. And then that makes the integration sort of really very, very important. So it's how are we ensuring that we understand our architecture and we understand the architecture that can work best for DAI, and where do we have to ensure that integration is happening, and then try to minimize the amount of like unnecessary integration or the integration that would require too much and maybe would be unmanageable. So yeah, I would say so. We are moving in the direction. We have a number of legacy systems that we are on the verge of replacing. And that is right now where we're looking at also low code, cloud-based platforms that we can leverage for some of our more, I would say unique implementation requirements in the field. And then the bigger public cloud business process, or business solutions are the ones that, like, new ERPs. And then another area that we're also really embracing or leveraging is what we can get as platform, like platform as a service. So we're able to build out a data lake, and we're able to build out the tools and the analytics on top of that data lake to better support sort of a single source of truth.
Larry, you're the customer for SuneraTech's Center for Digital Acceleration that provides digital enablement across 4 pillars: cloud infrastructure engineering, data transformation, application modernization with the integration and extending the business, as well as the business process automation. What was your vision for leveraging the SuneraTech's Center for Digital Acceleration and the SuneraTech partnership? Now, what are some of your future initiatives that leverages SuneraTech's partnership as well as the Center for Digital Acceleration?
So, Sreeni, maybe I'll just give a little bit of background, about DAI's relationship with SuneraTech. I met, Shrikant back, I want to say 2007, 2008. I knew Ravi Reddy from a former role that he had at another company even before then. And then when I did start, DAI did start partnering with SuneraTech, because I do believe SuneraTech has been a partner to DAI more than just a service provider. We have been able to depend on SuneraTech to really help us bring in the right people and the right skills to allow for the success, especially in the beginning around our Oracle platform. And that relationship has evolved over the last 13 years or so, to one where, I have been able to depend on SuneraTech for all kinds of support, all kinds of expertise, and then, also all kinds of patience, because, DAI isn't always the easiest company to work with. So it was about 2 years ago where DAI really decided to embrace a relationship that allowed us to build out a whole team that included data analytics, engineers, DBAs, business analysts in the facilities that SuneraTech has in Hyderabad, and then really help us grow what we could do in a way that we would not have been able to do so in the States or in Europe, probably. So that the Centers for Development Acceleration is just a way for us to tap into the skills at SuneraTech that we would not easily be able to find on our own, I guess, frankly, and do that through a trusted partner. So, there are many different initiatives that we have that are sort of run the gamut across what we do on implementation side, and then what we're doing to be able to support our back office functions. Initially, what we're doing with SuneraTech is looking at automation, evaluating our business processes, have a better idea of what it is that we're doing now, and what does that cost us, and then what could we be doing to automate some of those business processes and really be able to cut back on some of the costs and become a much more efficient organization. So that I would say that is the key area right now where we're engaging. There are other things that we are doing with SuneraTech. Automated testing is another product and service that they provide, you all provide, that we are really, that's very important to our cloud first strategy. And then it's also just like bringing together some of the skills that we need on the day-to-day, or some of the future initiatives that we have around, data and digital products that we could bring forward for our customers.
Larry, it's been a great journey for SuneraTech to be the digital and cloud partner of DAI in the areas of transforming IT services with the global service desk, with intelligent AI chatbots, business process automation of FinOps, whether it is record to report as well as procure to pay, leveraging the robotic process automation, and also in data strategy and data monetization, etc. What is your experience in this cloud journey?
Yeah, so a lot of what you asked in the question, Sreeni, is a little bit on the new side for us. So some of it is aspirational. Some of it we're engaged in right now. So I would say, with SuneraTech and the relationship that we have with SuneraTech, they have pushed us and helped us understand how we could be better embracing technology to support our operations and support sort of our ability to go to market with our products. And that's, for me, has been super important, because it keeps us on our toes and makes us understand, okay, there are things that we could be doing to really improve our efficiencies and our go-to-market strategy across the board. So I would say that, at this point, we have a lot of opportunity, and that we appreciate the fact that SuneraTech can bring the skills to play for us to be able to do things in a different way that would set us apart from our competitors, as well as really allow us to be more successful. So I'm hoping that answered your question, but more or less, we are still in the beginning of trying to take advantage of some of those things that you mentioned in your question.
Thank you, Larry, for joining us and sharing the insights with us. You are an inspiration. Your answers and comments are really appreciated. Thank you.
No, I think first of all, it's a great way of taking the time to listen to what other people are doing and learn from what they've done successfully, and people often are very honest about what hasn't worked for them. So it gives you a good idea to sort of understand what you could be doing, and then gaining from their experience. So I find these acceleration summits or digital acceleration summits like very, very valuable. Then you also meet people that you can continue to have conversations around and learn from each other. So I think that's also the way of networking in this this ability to be able to reach out to people and say, hey, I'm trying to do this, have you done it? And they can tell you, don't do that, or yes, we did it, and that was something that was very successful, or maybe you should be thinking about it differently, because when we did it one way, we found it was better. We ended up being more successful than if we did it in another way. So yeah, so that's key. The event that was earlier in the year, it seems like it was decades ago, just based on how everything has changed since March. It was, if I knew it was the last party I was going to attend this year, I would have not gone to bed as early as I did every night. I think one of the big takeaways from that party also was I did not realize that Ravi Reddy was as good of a dancer as he is. So I'm sorry that that's something you're probably not going to see in a virtual event. So looking forward to the next time we get back together as in person, to be able to enjoy each other's